Why go through all the trouble of writing an expanded and updated version of The World is Flat only a year after the book was first published? I can offer a very brief answer: because I could, and because I must. Precisely because of the powerful technological forces detailed in this book, the publishing industry has sped up, and it is now possible to revamp a whole book relatively easily. That is what I mean when I say I could. The reason I must do it is threefold. First, because the forces flattening the world didn't stop when this book was published in April 2005, and I wanted to keep tracking them and weaving them into my overall thesis. Second, I wanted to answer one of the questions I was asked most often from parents while I was traveling around the country to speak about the book. Okay, Mr. Friedman, thank you for telling us that the world is flat. Now what do I tell my kids? So readers will find a lot more on education and the flat world in this new edition of the book. Finally, I found many of the comments from readers and reviewers both thoughtful and useful, and I immediately wanted to absorb some of the best of them into the book. At some point I will stop writing this book, but for now, I am just enjoying the chance to keep sharing what I am learning, and thankful that the flattening of the world makes that easier than ever.
Audio Renaissance presents The World is Flat, A Brief History of the 21st Century by Thomas L. Friedman. Read for you by Oliver Wyman. How the World Became Flat.
No one ever gave me directions like this on a golf course before. Aim at either Microsoft or IBM. I was standing on the first tee at the KGA Golf Club in downtown Bangalore, in southern India, when my playing partner pointed at two shiny glass and steel buildings off in the distance, just behind the first green. HP and Texas Instruments had their offices on the back nine, along the 10th hole. That wasn't all. The tee markers were from Epson, the printer company, and one of our caddies was wearing a hat from 3M. Outside, some of the traffic signs were also sponsored by Texas Instruments, and the Pizza Hut billboard on the way over showed a steaming pizza under the headline, "Gigabytes of Taste." No, this definitely wasn't Kansas. It didn't even seem like India. Was this the New World, the Old World, or the Next World? I had come to Bangalore, India's Silicon Valley, on my own Columbus-like journey of exploration. Columbus sailed with the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria in an effort to discover a shorter, more direct route to India by heading west, across the Atlantic, on what he presumed to be an open sea route to the East Indies, rather than going south and east around Africa as Portuguese explorers of his day were trying to do. He apparently assumed the Earth was round, which was why he was convinced that he could get to India by going west. He miscalculated the distance, though. He thought the Earth was a smaller sphere than it is. He also did not anticipate running into a landmass before he reached the East Indies. Nevertheless, he called the aboriginal peoples he encountered in the New World Indians. Columbus was searching for hardware, precious metals, silk, and spices, the source of wealth in his day. I was searching for software, brain power, complex algorithms, knowledge workers, call centers, transmission protocols, breakthroughs in optical engineering, the sources of wealth in our day. Columbus was happy to make the Indians he met his slaves, a pool of free manual labor. I just wanted to understand why the Indians I met were taking our work. Why they had become such an important pool for the outsourcing of service and information technology work from America and other industrialized countries. Columbus had more than 100 men on his 3 ships. I had a small crew from the Discovery Times channel that fit comfortably into 2 banged-up vans, with Indian drivers who drove barefoot. When I set sail, so to speak, I too assumed that the world was round. But what I encountered in the real India profoundly shook my faith in that notion. Columbus accidentally ran into America, but thought he had discovered part of India. I actually found India and thought many of the people I met there were Americans. Columbus reported to his king and queen that the world was round, and he went down in his
Sample complete. Ready to continue?